Ciao a tutti, come stai? My name is Nick Santangelo, and I hope everyone's doing well out there today. Today is a nice, wonderful Saturday, June 13th, 2020. And I'm here today on behalf of Filitalia International and Foundation as the Assistant Director of Filitalia Foundation. I'm here to bring you the planned event that we have for today, the Filitalia International and History of Italian Immigration Museum virtual tour and watch party. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to all of our members and non-members who are tuning in over the interwebs that we are broadcasting this on. We'd also like to say thank you, not just for taking the time to view this wonderful program and to catch up on what you might have thought you're missing with Filitalia International, but we'd like to also say thank you to those who have donated and who will donate and tune in to this program, whether it be the donation to the museum to watch this, or to our various events and items that we'll be discussing today. Everything from the Italian classes, we'll be talking about the webinar series and other such important things that usually would occur during Wednesday morning or Friday evening that have now been relocated to your computer screens for COVID safety measures. Obviously, we'll be discussing the museum reopening plan and the merchandise that we are having for sale to benefit the museum. We'll be talking also about the language and culture classes, the wonderful Italy in Crisis fundraiser that Filitalia is still looking for to reach the $10,000 goal to send money over to Italy and assist in their rehabilitation and issues with Corona. And then finally, we'll get to have a wonderful set of music performed by our Napoli chapter and a little glimpse into what La Festa in years past is like, just to give you a taste of what we were unfortunately unable to bring to you this past June. So let's talk about the registration night and the classes. So you'll see here that Filitalia has 6 levels of classes: beginners 1 and 2, intermediate 1 and 2, and advanced 1 and 2. They run on specific days and times during the day of the week. So you'll see that usually it's 5:30 to 7 or 7:30 to 9. And aside from Monday and Fridays, as those are our times for private classes, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Depending on what level you're at, you'll have, one of these 6 classes on one of these 3 days, and one of those 2 time slots, which is 5:30 to 7 or 7:30 to 9. So, beginners 1 is always on Tuesdays from 5:30 to 7. That's a very concrete schedule that we use as a tool for the students, for them to gauge when the classes will be, and if they're able to make those classes and continue their education with Filitalia International. These classes will run for 6 weeks straight, and these classes will also, most importantly, be of a low cost to no matter who the student might be. Members, it costs $100, and non-members, it costs $120. So at most, you're paying $120 for 6 weeks of Italian, an hour and a half each week. So it's literally $20 for an hour and a half to be in a small group setting, usually no more than 10 people, to get a real intimate yet immersive and fiscally helpful experience in the Italian language with 2 of our wonderful instructors that we have. The next registration night that we'll be having is going to be on July 13th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Hopefully we'll be able to have it at the museum, but if not, what we will do is we will just be having it over the phone and through emails and online links that you're able to purchase your classes, as we've been doing for the past 3 months or so. That's how we've been doing it since the middle of March, and that's how we'll be continuing to do it. So if you're not able to make it in person, don't worry about it. There's a possibility it won't even be in person, and we'll be doing it over online means. The second thing here that we'd like to talk about is after you say, well, okay, I'll sign up for the classes, either, whether they're online or in person, what do I expect in each of these lessons and each of these levels? Well, let's run through what each of these class levels entail. The first is Beginner's 1, and you'll see that it has a basic foundation in Italian with salutations, time, the alphabet, numbers, restaurant, vocabulary expansion, and early grammar concepts and conversation. Beginners 2, you'll continue this vocabulary expansion with more advanced grammar, verb tenses, improve your conversational skills, and the like. With Intermediate 1, this is a big hump, one that might break that proverbial camel's back, so to speak. You improve your grammar and increase your comprehension speed, but the catch is that the class is taught in 70% Italian and the remaining 30% is in English. So sometimes people are able to cruise through it. Sometimes people like to retake Intermediate 1 or the classes that predicate it, that are the predecessor, so to speak. Regardless, if you're able to blaze through, you get to Intermediate 2. You continue improving on your grammar with past and future tenses, improvement of writing and reading, and conversation and discussion of current events. And then finally, you have Advanced 1 and 2, where you finish the indicative mood, reading of short stories and class discussions with Italian movies shown at the end of each session. And this is just a way to really bring everything together, to tie it all in, the conversation, the comprehension, the grammar, and talk about real concrete topics that someone needs to be more fluent in Italian than not can speak. And obviously the studies don't end there, but it's a great foundation to start everything for sure. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at 215-334-8882. You could visit us on the web at www.filitaliainternational.org. It's .org, remember. And then the email that you could always reach out to us at is info@filitaliainternational.com. We would most certainly love for you to come to the museum and stop by and check it out. But unfortunately, as indicated in this event description, it is closed at the moment. So for the time being, we're doing events like this, and we hope that that is enough to entice you to come out and experience the Filitalian language classes, whether it is from your computer or from the museum. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break and show you some of the wonderful museum products that you can buy and to help support the museum. And then following that, we'll discuss what our wonderful professor, Angela Kacharu, has been doing with events at the museum and online. Ciao a tutti, come stai? I hope everyone just enjoyed that little advert that we had for the various baskets and group items that you're able to buy at the museum and support us. If not an issue. We'd like to move straight forward into our discussion of the various events that we're having at Filitalia, one of which is the incorporation of the Wednesday breakfast series and the Friday lecture series brought to you by the safety of your home once again in the webinar series that our wonderful professor Angela Kacharu has been doing. She's a wonderful, well-educated, well-versed professor from Sardinia who is an American citizen who is taught all throughout the world. And she, aside from teaching language at the Filitalia International Center for Language and Culture, she's been giving these great performances and discussions and lectures about a variety of topics, such as the Agnelli in America. You could see here that we have the cities built around water, a variety of other geographical and topography related discussions, such as Gargano, Salento, these other amazing places with so much Italian magic, let's say, embedded in them. She also talks about things like the Italian-American perception in the United States and the history of Italian-Americans, amongst many other things. So please make sure to be on the lookout for many of these great events that she's bringing to us and that we've been promoting through our various social medias. The next topic that we'd like to discuss is Filitalia International and the Metropolitan Group's joint efforts to address the urgent Italian crisis. We're here to talk about the dire straits and the need for our help in Italy. Italy has reported more than now 35,000 deaths, with the number continuing to rise daily. Filitalia International and Foundation and the Metropolitan Project together are raising much-needed emergency funds to aid the families and communities in crisis throughout Italy. These funds will be dispersed through Filitalia International and Foundation under the director of Dr. Pasquale F. Nestico. The efforts will be distributed by Dr. Nestico through Filitalia International and Foundation to those aid spots that need them during this COVID-19 event. So if you're able to feel inclined to donate to such a wonderful cause, please make sure to do so by reaching out to Filitalia International through our variety of social medias as well as emails, and we'll be able to direct you to the sources needed to do so. So the next topic that we'd like to discuss is visually brought on by these students here of Scuola Impresa. It's an organization that has partnered with Filitalia International to help kids of high school age, usually from the ages of 16 to 18, come to America, get a real authentic American experience, but also interconnect with the Italian American community, especially in the city of Philadelphia. They'll get to learn and not just about the community and its evolution, the ties to Italy, but how they can have stronger ties to America, stronger ties to themselves and what they look to do in the future. And they also get to do amazing projects, such as learning the English language and documenting the museum like this past group did from a technical institution in northern Italy in Varese. So as you can see, they give a basic overview of the museum, which we'll get to elaborate a little bit more on when Michael Bonacera, the curator of the museum, does his portion of the pre-recorded tour that we have, fortunately. But at the moment, you can see that the museum, it does look like this. We have great exhibits from the New World all the way to early American history, early examples of Italian American excellence, to South Philadelphia and its Italian culture connection, its roots, it's South Philadelphia Italian style, we call it. We have a variety of excellent barbershop materials donated by a real barber from the 60s, which I'll once again let Mike elaborate on in just a couple minutes here. You get to see the contribution to wartime efforts in a variety of conflicts, especially World War II, from the Italian American communities, as that saying is that the Italian Americans are the most decorated ethnic group during World War II, as so many of them did serve for their country. We also have a section dedicated to religion and folklore of the time in modern day, as well as a section on genealogy and the culmination of it all, which is the American Dream section, to just showcase what the Italian has been able to contribute and achieve in the United States of America. We go from what is Italian roots to American dreams. And unfortunately, the museum is closed at this moment, which I think hopefully within the next month or so, we will get further realization from the government of Philadelphia, Mayor Kennedy, that we will be able to open up and start giving smaller privatized tours. So definitely be on the lookout if you want a specialized tour, a specialized meeting of small individuals, like a tour group, I'll say. We'll be able to hopefully work things out like that, schedule times, make sure everything is properly following the CDC guidelines and whatnot. More on that will be obviously released on social media and another variety of platforms in the coming weeks once we get an announcement from the city that the city's going to a green zone and we're able to do so. But aside from that, we're looking to just continue as we've been doing and discussing. Many things are being done online, such as events like this. and that's how we're going to continue in the meantime. But the second that we get the opportunity to open up again, we will most certainly do so. And as you can see, we're ending our tour here. We have our credits and the amazing students that were able to do what they did. Following that, we're going to start with Michael Bonacera and his excellent tour of Filitalia International's History of Italian Immigration Museum. Take it away.
This organization called Filitalia International that's committed to the transmission of Italian culture to other parts of the world. They recently opened the History of Italian Immigration Museum in Philadelphia to showcase the struggles and triumphs Italians faced when coming to the United States. Michael Bonacera is the museum's co-chair, who offered us a tour through the history of the city and the museum itself. So, how long has the museum been open?
We opened on June 1st of 2014. Filitalia decided to create a museum 2 years ago.
Okay.
And it was last year, about this time, when we became in earnest to create the museum. And we are very proud of what we've accomplished in such a short amount of time.
Let's take a tour.
Okay, very good. So we begin with the New World. We have many explorers that are of Italian descent. Some of them that we know very well, starting with Marco Polo, of course Christopher Columbus,
yes.
But some lesser known ones such as John Cabot and Sebastian Cabot, they sailed out of England, but they are of Italian origin. Most notably though, I'd like to focus on Amerigo Vespucci.
Yes.
What's notable about him was that it was the German map maker Wassmüller who made the first map that incorporated his travel itinerary.
Okay.
And created the first map that had America written on it. Moving along to the early national period, we have two representatives that signed the Declaration of Independence that are of Italian origin. Mid-19th century, most of the immigrants were from northern Italy. These were the artisans, the sculptors, the skilled trades. But some notable ones is Constantino Brumidi.
Okay.
He's known as the Michelangelo of America. Reason being that he is very notable here in Philadelphia because he was the artist at the cathedral, the Basilica of St. Peter and Paul in Center City.
Okay. So why Philadelphia for this museum? Why do you think that the founders, or that everyone started this museum here rather than New York or Boston or DC? Do you have...
Oh, well, sure. First of all, Filitalia International is based here in South Philadelphia. It was the founding of the organization. Philadelphia is rich in Italian culture, especially
Absolutely.
South Philadelphia. But it is not just Philadelphia itself. The whole region has a lot of rich cultural heritage of the Italians. The next area we want to talk about is the Great Arrival. We're talking about Italians that came from southern Italy and Sicily.
Okay.
Predominantly at the beginning of 1900s. And these people came because there was no food, there was a bad economy, they learned about America, and there were jobs here. We have a guitar, which is a pasta maker of yesteryear. Also a coffee grinder from a member in Philadelphia here who donated these items. And what I think we want to talk about here is that the immigration was not a simple process even for them. I mean, you're talking about people who traveled 30 days on a boat in pretty lousy conditions. One story I can tell you is my grandfather also Michael Bonacera, he was the oldest of his family, the oldest son. He was 19 years old in 1902. He came to this country alone, ahead of the rest of the family. He listed himself as a tailor.
Okay.
So we have photographs of him. He has such a regal position. It was 1902 he came. We know that he married my grandmother when he was 21.
Oh my God.
So this photograph here, which was done at a photographer's, has my grandmother dressed in a quite ornate outfit. And what is it telling you? It says the streets are paved with gold. Come to America.
Yes.
So they were showing off their wedding
Yeah.
and sending to Italy. And the family sent a photograph back. And this is my family, my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, and great-great-grandfather who never made it to this country. So it took a full 5 years to reunite the family from the time he first came till everyone who ultimately came to America arrived. There are countless stories similar to that. There was homeless Italians from the earthquake in 1909 when they came. Italian Americans predominantly came through New York and Philadelphia, but then many of them stayed in that area, and then many of them moved to other areas within the U.S. We have here, this was an interesting thing, one of our members, Anna DiPaolo, and her husband, when he came with nothing more than that suitcase. And
that's a weekender bag.
It's a weekender bag, but this is what he came with, and many of the immigrants did come with just the clothes on their back and what they could carry.
Yeah, and then what is what is this? I'm looking at this and I think what is it? Is it a passport for coming to America?
It is a passport. It is a passport from one of the members. It's interesting that there are some things that people hold dear and would not want to part with. So maybe I'll get a photograph of a passport because they don't want to hand it to the museum in its original form. But then there are other artifacts that people don't even recognize. They think it's just junk.
Yeah.
And the museum would find it extremely valuable.
Absolutely.
And it is those items that we want to bring to the museum. Meet Sal Rosati.
Okay.
Sal Rosati started a barbershop in 1958 time frame.
Okay.
He had a vision. His vision was he wanted to become a hairdresser. He, not only a barber. His father was a barber.
Yeah.
And his grandfather was a barber. He learned his trade in Italy.
Yeah.
He came to this country. He wanted to start. He saw Hollywood. He knew the Hollywood idea.
He could totally make a living here.
He built a barbershop modeled after the Hollywood image.
Yeah.
So for many years he was very successful because he was right across the street from a parochial school. The largest parochial school in Philadelphia.
Yes.
4,000 students.
That's 4,000 haircuts.
Every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Because in those days, there was the crew cuts and, and the short haircuts.
Everyone kept a pretty clean mop.
Right. So, needless to say, he did pretty well.
Yes.
It's a snapshot of history. It is a snapshot in time. And we are very proud to have his shop here.
Yeah.
And we are looking for other similar finds.
It seems like you have a lot of people who come in and see all of this and it brings them back to something and maybe inspires them to give something. Is that kind of it seems like the model you guys are using. What do you think about this?
We were given a set of artifacts from an American Veterans Post, an AMVET post called the Biello and Arterio World War II Veterans Post.
Okay.
On the wall there, we have the original charter, handwritten, sealed by the judge and the notary and the like, establishing this nonprofit organization.
Wow.
Biello was a paratrooper, and we have a photograph of him here. He was a paratrooper. He served during World War II. Well, needless to say, Biello passed away 3 days into the battle.
Yeah.
And that is what we know about him. And the family and the people here in South Philadelphia, because this post was 10 blocks from this site, they had this AMVET post in 1948 was created. And interestingly, we have all of the artifacts of the posts because it is no longer in existence.
Yeah.
And so I think it was very fitting, especially when you read the names, they're all Italian names. But what's very fitting is something like this could very easily wind up in the trash if it wasn't for someone's thought of, well, would the museum want it? And I said, absolutely, we would love to have it. And it fits right in with the World War II National Service section of our museum.
This is great.
So artifacts breed more artifacts.
Yeah.
People get ideas and they say, you know what, I have something. And then we are more than happy to honor their request.
Do you think that people, when they bring their traditions here, they really have hung on to them and continued to practice them to coming to America, or have those traditions started to pass?
I think it's fair to say that the first generation that comes to America brings with them all of what
it's all they know,
all they have, and there's a yearning to remember your past, especially when you're in a foreign land. Surrounded by metagons, so there's that wish to preserve. The next area we want to talk about is the Genealogy Center.
Okay.
We do not have a lot of artifacts at this time, but we want to express to our people who come to visit that there are a wealth of information on the internet, whether it be the Ellis Island website, Ancestry.com. There are several other search engines on the internet that people can research their heredity. Probably the most important part of this museum now is talking about the American dreams. Our tagline is celebrating Italian roots and American dreams. In the American dreams section, we're talking about the Italian Americans who have made something of themselves, that have contributed to society, that have made an impact on America and the world. We have several notable people that maybe you know, maybe you don't, but Sylvester Stallone was a native Philadelphian, and we know his success. Mayor Rizzo is a very famous mayor of Philadelphia, most notable. Singer like Mario Lanza, very big, prominent. Al Alberts is another great name that from this area. This is a small token of what's out there. There are probably hundreds and hundreds of more stories we can develop. So interestingly, we are at a point now where we have started a capital campaign.
Okay.
The capital campaign is a project that we started as of June 1st when we opened.
Okay.
And in this instance, we're looking to create granite pavers where patrons who want to donate money for a brick can either honor their family members or their business or what have you with engraved text on it. And these pavers will line the sidewalk in front of the museum.
What do you think is the place for Italian Americans now in our society? Are they, obviously people are still doing amazing things, but do you think that there's going to be maybe a resurgence of young people embracing that older culture?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we are an international organization. As such, we want to expand our membership. We want to expand chapters throughout the country, primarily right now. Who are the future leaders of an organization like Filitalia? It's very simple. We are looking for people who are educated, who love the Italian culture. A prime place is the local universities that offer Italian majors, that offer curriculums in international affairs, because these are the people who have a love for the culture, and I'm sure that there are many out there, yourself included,
Yes.
that would be interested in preserving and participating in this activity of trying to preserve and protect the cultural aspects.
Ciao a tutti. We hope that everyone has been enjoying this wonderful opportunity we've had to showcase you the museum through an excellent tour received a couple years ago. We've shown you and informed you about the language classes, what to expect with that, what you'll experience, the various events and lectures that we have, and including the wonderful cause to our brothers and sisters in Italy with the Metropolitan and Filitalia International Foundation fundraiser for the Italy in Crisis. The next thing that we would love to do is showcase you our brothers in Italy and sisters in Italy from the Napoli chapter, the president being Michela Mortella, and the ability that many of these individuals possess, which is showcased and funneled into a choir group that they are a part of. So today they're going to play a set of music that they would have played for La Festa della Repubblica, as well as the Festa San Marziale, two events that we have in the end of May and in the end of June. And unfortunately, because of the circumstances, we were not able to do that. So they're going to be playing some wonderful classical music, as well as the ever so classic Napolitana folk music of yesteryear that so many Italian Americans, no matter if they are Napolitana or not, know so much about and resonate with quite heavily. So with that, we're going to bid them their time to play the wonderful set of music that they have prepared for us today. So let's sit back and relax and enjoy some wonderful music.
Hey, Welcome to the Filitalia International 6th Annual Festival in celebration of La Festa della Repubblica, which translates in English the Italian National Day, which commemorates the formation of the Italian Republic on June 2nd, 1946, after World War II. Today is special, not only for Italy's independence, but it also marks the first anniversary of Filitalia International Foundation, History of Italian Immigration Museum, and the first official unveiling of the Remembering of a Loved One tile sidewalk.
Today marks our 1-year anniversary as we opened up last year at La Festa 2014. The greatest thing about the event is that everybody here is an Italian.
A ballare come uno tetti, ci attendino viene divinetti, a ballare come uno tetti, e se cola per la figliola, a ballare come uno tetti, ci attendino viene divinetti, a ballare come uno tetti, e se cola per la figliola. Buia, buia, addosso della luna, buia di da casa, non stessa luna, buia, buia, come un vento, venti da casa, all'uparmento.
This is a historical moment which happens probably one in 2 or 3 generations. The unveiling of the pavers we call the Remembering Loved One tile, which will be the foundation for this beautiful museum for hopefully for eternity for our children and grandchildren.
It's great. It's for Italians, about Italians. The museum, all the plaques, all the people that want this to happen, it's just great. Here's mine right in the corner. He's right next to me.
Every year is getting better and better. We enjoy it. We have a lot of food, a beautiful day, and a lot of music, and a lot of Italian people. Viva Italia!
Hi, I'm Anthony Gargano from 97.5, The Morning Show. And I got to tell you, we're here at La Festa, and it's such the apt word for it, festa. It's a wonderful thing. Takes place a celebration of the Italian-American culture right here at the epicenter of Italian-American culture in Philadelphia, and that is Passyunk Avenue. When I was a kid, I grew up coming down here to get my shoes, to get my school clothes, to get my water rice at Italiano's right over here. This is what we did. Passyunk Avenue was always a commercial entity of Philadelphia, and now it's become a cultural one. The most amazing restaurants, the most amazing, really, display of Italian-American culture. It's a wonderful thing. So when La Festa came in, and the new Italian-American Immigration Museum, it was just a natural. I had to be here. It's a wonderful thing. It's a celebration of the Italian-American culture and really the American culture. And it shows you how all of our melting pots that come together come here and make a wonderful country. And this is celebration. And by the way, it's Philadelphia, and you know how I feel about Philadelphia.
This is the Italian roast porchetta. The Italian roast porchetta happens to be the best pork in the world. It is completely deboned and then surgically put back together again with all natural seasonings and cooked in a bakery oven. Just like bread, when cooked in a bakery oven, excelente.
We're at Acme Markets in 10 to read. We're here doing a little community service and thanking all the people that come into the Acme. We appreciate their business. I think it's great. We couldn't ask for a better day, that's for sure, right?
My name is John Kawash. I'm with Germany Brothers Bakery. We have the regatta filled cannolis. We have vanilla and chocolate cupcakes with sprinkled chimneys on top. And then we have our sfogliato dough.
Everybody, everybody,
Airan, the past twice, just the question is so nice, Angelina. Angelina, it's a sad pizzeria. I keep sleeping in the storm just to be Angelina.
Four-time champion, ladies and gentlemen, of the pasta contest.
Voglio bene. Angelina, I adore you.
Noir restaurant where we specialize in Italian, Canadian influenced cuisine, craft beers, and just seasonal. We use seasonal ingredients and little Italian with a French twist.
Never listens to my song.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. It's a great celebration. You got great weather for it. You got a wonderful turnout. Couldn't have a better city. Brotherly love. I mean, come on, Italians in love. That's more. That's what we're here for.
If she'll be
It's been a lot of fun. It's a great turnout. People are very friendly, and people seem to be excited about all the activities going on up and down the avenue.
It's gonna be me and only me. Oh, I'm begging you to settle down. Wow, I could live your wings and then things. You got the lips that are better, I got the lips that'll knock you out. Come on, walk on, I'll be wild about me. Oh yeah.
I think the event is absolutely awesome. You know, it brings the community together. People are having a good time. The weather's great. Everything was perfect for today.
Gorgeous day.
I'm standing with my buddy Joe Pesci.
And I got to meet Joe
That's my
Pesci.
sweetheart over here.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. As long as love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive.
I love it. I come every year. It's the first year actually having a venue here, but you know, I'm always here. It's a good time.
Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words.
Event's great. A lot of people, great weather, having a great time.
But if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too
But I want this to be a day of pride for Philadelphians, for Italian Americans, for the Avenue, and everything about South Philadelphia.
So how about that? That was a great La Festa della Repubblica event and recap video that we just got to watch there. So definitely a good culmination of the things that you'll find at La Festa. The ethnic folk music, the pride, the celebration of a unified Italy, the National Italian Day, the resurgence of a republic post-World War II, and that's all funneled into the Italian-American pride that is experienced daily in Philadelphia, especially South Philadelphia, which is the epicenter of the Italian culture in the city. Philadelphia is the second highest city with Italian Americans as well as the Italian immigrants. So to this day, the only city that has more of them is New York City, but Philadelphia was the second highest, especially during the height of the Italian diaspora in the early 1900s and late 1800s, the turn of the century there. But hopefully that gives you a good taste of what we try to bring to the Avenue and to the Italian American community in the tri-state area every June, early June. We really hope to see you guys out there next time. And most importantly, we really hope everyone stays well and healthy during such turbulent times with everything going on. But aside from health, we also like to extend our gracious thank you to all of you that have watched, that have donated resources, time, your money, even the materials used to showcase this wonderful event. This particularly the chapter of Napoli, who did a great job in the variety of music they were able to provide for the audience today. I'd like to thank everyone for once again spending their afternoon with us, a little bit of their afternoon if that, and we hope to see you all out there soon, whether it be at a registration night, whether it's all over the computer with more events and more of these language classes, and hopefully once everything gets back to normal, we'll see you there for a tour. And yeah, we really hope to see you out there as soon as possible. So make sure to follow us at our various social medias. You can follow us at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, Filitalia International, or a name that's a variation on that. But if you look up Filitalia International, you'll find us. And then make sure to also follow our History of Italian Immigration Museum page, which is only on Facebook. It's facebook.com/HIIMPHILA, and that'll get you to the History of Italian Immigration Museum. So, once again, stay in touch, stay in tune, make sure to subscribe, follow, like our pages, whatever it might be, and you'll get all the details and other news that we're going to be releasing about the museum and what Filitalia is doing during this COVID-19 crisis. So with that, we're going to say buona giornata, a presto, and stay well, stay safe. Thank you very much.